Today's I can statement is I can understand decimal place value. So yesterday we talked about decimal place value up to the thousands, and we're going to continue on that today, but we're going to be working with standard and expanded form, which is something that we talked about a couple days ago. So let's take a look. Well, first let's review. So we kind of just talked about it. What are the different ways that we can write numbers? I want you to go ahead and type in the different ways that we can write numbers. There should be two that stick out in your head from a previous math lesson this year. Go ahead and click next when you're ready. Good. We should have gotten standard form and expanded form, which we're going to talk about on the next page. So here we're going to focus on understanding our decimal place value in both standard and expanded form. So here's an example. So we've seen this chart right here that helps us understand our decimal place value. We have the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths, all to the right of our decimal. And remember, that number to the left of our decimal is our ones place. And then if we were to have a number here, that would be our tens place, our hundreds place, and so on. But today we're going to be mostly working with just the ones place, and then the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So let's take a look at standard form. So standard form is the way that we often see our numbers. So here we have 245 thousandths. Our 5 is in the thousandths place. So this is the value right down here of that number 5. If we were to continue on, we would know that the 4, the value of the 4 here would look like this. Because our 4 is in the hundredths place. And our value of the 2 would be 2/10, because it's in the tenths place. Alright, let's take a look at expanded form. So expanded form looks a little odd. We see some fractions here. So let's look at our 2 in the tenths place first. When we're writing it in expanded form, it's going to look like this. 2 times 1/10. So 2 times 1/10 is equal to 0 and 2/10 written in standard form. Our 4 is in the hundredths place, so it's going to be 4 times 1/100th written in expanded form. And then our 5 is in the thousandths place, so it's going to be 5 times 1 over 1,000 for expanded form. Alright. And then we have our number name, which is the third way that we often see our numbers, which is just written out in words. So 245 thousandths. Oh, sorry, I should not have said and. And means that there's a decimal there. So it would just be 245 thousandths. Alright. Here we're going to work through an example together. So we're going to write each number in standard form. So we're given the expanded form here. Now first we have 2 times 1, and I know that 2 times 1, I'm just going to pick a different color here. Let's go blue. 2 times 1 is going to equal 2. So that means that that's going to be in my ones place. Then I have 6 times 1 over that 1,000, which means that my 6 is going in my thousandths place. So I need to put zeros here in my tenths and my hundredths place before I put that 6 in my thousandths place. Let's try another one. Here we just go right to 4 times 1/10, which means I don't have anything to put in my ones place. So I'm just going to put a 0 there. 0 and, with my decimal, I've got my 4 in my tenths place, then my 2 in my hundredths place, because it's 2 times 1 over 100, and then I have 9 times 1 over 1,000. So that 9 is going to my thousandths place, and that is my number there written in standard form. All right, I want you guys to go ahead and try this one on your own. So how would you write this number in standard form? Go ahead and click next when you're ready. Okay, so here we have 7 times 1, which means that I have a number in my ones place. So I'm going to put 7, my decimal, so 7 and then I see 4 times 1/10, which means my 4 goes in my tens place. And then I have a 1 over here that's going to be in my hundredths place because I have 1 over 100. So I'm going to put a 1 here, and I don't have anything in my thousands place. So I can either put a 0 or I can just leave it like that. All right, so now I have my number, 7 and 41 hundredths. If I were to write this then in number form, which I think we should just do for some practice, I would write 7 and 41 hundredths. All right, let's continue on. So now we're going to switch over and talk about equivalent decimals. So equivalent means equal, and we're going to see equivalent throughout this entire year. So if it helps you to make note in your journal or your notebook to write down the definition of equivalent, I would do that now. So equivalent decimals name the same amount. So let's take a look at a few examples of equivalent decimals. So here we have 1 and 4/10, and we need to figure out 2 other decimals that are equivalent to 1 and 4/10. So 1 and 4/10 is the same as 1 and 40 hundredths. All they did was add a 0 there. But we have to say 40 hundredths because our 0 is in the hundredths place. But it's equivalent to 1 and 4/10 because that 4 is in the tenths place. And the 0 really doesn't add any value. Let's take a look down here. 1 and 4/10 is also the same as 1 and 4 hundredths. So the same thing they did here, only they added another 0. So we have to say, 1 and 400 thousandths. I don't know if I said that the first time. So we have to say thousandths because our 0, our last place here, is in the thousandths place. But because these are both zeros, it still has the same value as 1 and 4/10. So 1 and 4/10 is equal to 1 and 40 hundredths, which is also equal to 1 and 400 thousandths. All right, let's try one together. So we're going to write 2 decimals that are equivalent to this decimal right here. So we have 2 and 200 thousandths, which is also equal to, and let me switch the color here. Oh, we've got it already there. 2 and 2/10, and also equal to 2 and 20 hundredths. All right. Let's take a look now here. I want you guys to try this one on your own. So what are 2 decimals that are equivalent to this given decimal here? We have 3 and 5/10. 3 and 5/10. I want you guys to go ahead and write 2 other decimals that are equivalent to the given decimal. Click next when you're ready. All right, we should have gotten 3 and 50 hundredths and 3 and 500,000. All right, so all we do is add a couple zeros just to change that number, but it's still equivalent. So you guys are going to continue practicing on both of these skills today throughout math class. Great job, guys.